Stephen Curry. To the casual eye, a smiling, baby-faced guard with the boy next door charm, the easy laugh, the gentle swagger. To defenders, a storm they can't escape. A blur of cuts, a snap of the wrist, and the quiet swish that feels like a knife sliding between armor. From a doubted draft pick to a 3-time NBA champion, 2-time MVP, and the undisputed greatest shooter the game has ever seen, Curry has rewritten basketball's rulebook, bending the geometry of the court until it bent to him. But behind the joy, behind the grin, behind those 30-foot rainbows, is something else entirely. A competitive fire that burns white hot when he's tested. So, what happens when someone disrespects Stephen Curry? When a ref, a rival, or an entire arena tries to rattle him, you get revenge. Not through shoves, not through trash talk, but through a barrage of threes one after another until the scoreboard tilts, the crowd quiets, and silence hangs heavy over the doubters. Because for Curry, revenge is an art form. Every dagger is a brushstroke. Every swish is another note in a symphony of humiliation. And when the masterpiece is finished, all that's left is the look on his face, calm, almost amused, as if to say, you should have known better. Today, we relive 5 unforgettable times Stephen Curry sought revenge and won. The 28th of November, 2021. Clippers versus Warriors. The mouthguard moment. Approximately 680 words. The Warriors are already off to a roaring start to the 2021-22 season. But on this night against the LA Clippers, Steph Curry isn't smiling. 9 minutes left in the fourth, Golden State has a clean 2 on 1 fast break basketball's version of a sure thing. Terrence Mann steps in, body collides, the whistle blows, but not the whistle Curry expected. No foul. Steph's eyes widened. Mouthguard comes out his signature. Anyone who's watched him long enough knows, when the mouthguard is out, the assassin comes alive. He storms toward the official, words sharp and quick, frustration spilling out like cymbal crashes in a drum solo. The ref doesn't hesitate to make a technical foul. The crowd stirs. Even Draymond Green steps in to hold him back. But Steph's revenge isn't verbal, it's surgical.
Steph down the lane, what a flip shot!
Next possession. A deep, high-arching 3. The ball hanging in the air like a note, held just a beat too long before swishing through.
He's gone psycho! Psycho Steph!
The Clippers feel the shift. And then, the flurry. Curry drops 9 points in just 75 seconds a sequence, so blistering it feels like a full-court concerto. Step backs, catch and shoot. Pulling up in transition, every shot landing like a drum beat in the Clippers' chest.
Yeah, it was one of those situations where we felt like we had a good momentum growing, and in that third quarter, our defense was unbelievable. You know, some calls didn't go our way, and the whole momentum shifted based on those. And, you know, for us, it was a kind of a BST.
Final line, 33 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 steals. As the final buzzer fades, Curry strolls toward the tunnel not in a rush, not in a haze of celebration, but with the calm satisfaction of a man who knew exactly what he was doing. He raises his hands, forming the technical foul sign, throwing the gesture back at the refs and the crowd like a comedian delivering his final punchline. The smirk on his lips isn't loud or brash, it's knowing. It says, "You woke me up, and this is what it cost you." Every three-pointer, every steal, every dagger was another nail in the coffin, hammered in with precision. Revenge, served in triples, hot, merciless, and impossible to forget.
Now this is a matchup of the two teams that met in last June's NBA Finals. The defending champion Golden State Warriors facing the Cleveland Cavaliers.
The rivalry between LeBron James and Stephen Curry needs no introduction. 2 MVPs, 2 leaders of dynasties, 2 forces that defined an era. Every meeting between them felt like a playoff preview, every possession a statement. But in a 2016 regular season clash, the tension boiled over.
Now, Marv, we all know that LeBron is one of the highest scorers in this game.
Third quarter. The scoreboard blinks. Warriors 31, Cavaliers 19. The crowd buzzes with the familiar electricity that always hums when these two share the court. Steph snakes through the lane, weaving between defenders with that low, elusive dribble. He plants, rises for the layup, and LeBron meets him at the summit.
He got LeBron after he made the move on Iguodala. Here is Curry from way downtown. down.
Gasps ripple through the stands. Cameras zoom in on Steph, his mouthguard dangling, his eyes calm but burning with something sharper than anger. Some players in that moment would shove back. Others would bark, glare, maybe start a scuffle. But Steph's never been that kind of fighter. His retaliation lives in the box score. Next possession. Barely 10 seconds have passed. He jogs to the wing, almost casually, like nothing happened. The ball finds him. One dribble, a subtle step back to create the sliver of daylight he needs. LeBron's arm extends high, closing the space. Steph doesn't hesitate. Release. Rotation. The arc of the ball cutting through the air like a perfect violin note piercing the noise. Swish. No words. No smirk. No gestures. Just the sound of the net snapping back and the scoreboard shifting. His answer wasn't volume. It was precision. LeBron had given him contact. Steph returned with consequence. It was the essence of Curry's revenge, never escalating the fight, only elevating the game. A silent statement to anyone watching, especially to the man who just knocked him down. You can put me on the floor, but you can't keep me there. Oklahoma City had been waiting for this night, ever since Kevin Durant had walked away from Thunder Blue and slipped into Warriors Gold. These games had turned into something more than just basketball. They were therapy sessions for a wounded fan base, half competition, half catharsis, where every minute on the clock was an opportunity to vent years of anger. By the late stages of the second quarter, Chesapeake Energy Arena had become a living, breathing wall of noise. Every Durant touch drew a storm of venom. Every Warriors possession was met with boos sharp enough to cut glass. And in the middle of it all, Steph Curry, who wasn't the one who left, but who had been part of the dynasty that shattered Oklahoma City's dreams, felt the heat too. He'd been mocked, jeered, dismissed as the little brother in a bigger man's feud. Then came the moment. A jump ball with only seconds left in the half. Normally, nothing more than a blip before the buzzer. But Samaj Kristen stepped into Curry's space close enough to send a message without saying a word. I'm not giving you an inch. Steph saw it, and Steph doesn't ignore messages like that. He stepped forward until the gap was gone, shoulder brushing shoulder. Words slipped between them, too low for the crowd to hear but sharp enough to draw blood. And then came the bump. That was all it took. Russell Westbrook charged in, jaw set like steel, eyes locked on Curry. Draymond Green was there in a heartbeat, his voice rising above the crowd as he stepped between them. In an instant, the court became a crowded stage, pointing fingers, clenched fists, chest puffed. The noise from the stands erupted into pure, unfiltered Oklahoma defiance. The referees, trying to calm the storm, handed out double technicals. But conflict doesn't cool Curry, it sharpens him.
So from your perspective, what happened on that scuffle? What led up to it?
Your normal jump ball kind of fight for position situation. I was just trying to get in between Russ and how you pronounce his last name?
Samaj Christian.
Yeah. Trying to get between them two, and felt them push me. Kind of let that first one go, and I kept going. There was another little push, and at that point, just wanted to kind of hold my position. And not much to do about nothing after that, so it was fun though.
Play resumed. Seconds left in the half. The Warriors moved the ball quickly, hunting for one last shot. It landed in the hands of Klay Thompson, who stood on the wing as Thunder defenders closed in. 2, then 3, swarming him like moths to a flame. Without hesitation, Klay swung it to Curry. One dribble. The kind of motion he's practiced a million times, but only a handful of times gets to mean everything. The buzzer screamed. The ball sailed high and clean, its arc cutting through the air like it knew exactly where it belonged. Bang! The net barely moved. The roar of the crowd, so fierce only moments before, collapsed into a stunned, unwilling silence. Curry didn't hang around to soak it in. He didn't pump his fist, didn't glance back. He simply turned head high and sprinted straight into the tunnel, a man who had made his point and didn't need to repeat it. It wasn't just a three-pointer, it was an answer. Kristen's silent challenge, Westbrook's glare, the crowd's hostility answered in one perfect, cold, clean shot. This was Curry's revenge. Not shouted, not flaunted, swished. A reminder to Oklahoma City and to anyone watching that in the chaos of hate. Stephen Curry can still find the quietest moment in the building and own it completely. The city had seen enough of Stephen Curry to last a lifetime. 4 straight finals. 4 years of heartbreak. 4 years of watching their dreams collide with his rainbow arcs. The memories weren't just painful, they were personal. So when Curry's name rang through the loudspeakers during All-Star introductions, the response was immediate and unanimous. It rolled down from the rafters like a winter storm, cold and relentless. It wasn't playful. It wasn't good fun. It was the sound of a city exhaling years of resentment in one long, drawn-out note. Most players might have laughed it off. Some would have thrown a wink or a shrug, pretending it didn't land. Others would have flinched. Curry didn't do any of that. He heard it, "Hefärdigt," and he filed it away. The very next night, during All-Star Saturday festivities, the boos came again. He was on stage with his wife Aisha, promoting their new show. Same sound, same tone, same message. "We don't like you here." Steph smiled. It wasn't the grinny flashes after a 30-foot three. This was different, smaller, tighter, almost private. The kind of smile you give when you already know the ending to the story. Fast forward to Sunday night. From the opening tip, Curry treated the game like an artist given a blank canvas. First quarter three-pointer from the wing, then another, a step back from the top, then another, deeper still, pulling up as if testing how far the crowd's patience could stretch. By halftime, the volume of the boos had dropped. Not because Cleveland had forgiven him, but because even their breath couldn't keep up with his shot-making. And then came the second half. It was as if Curry decided to stop painting and start composing a symphony, every shot a note, every swish a chord. He hit one from the logo, then from a step beyond, then a fadeaway from the corner so absurd the defenders could only laugh. He was spinning in place, falling away, launching the ball like it was a casual warm-up, and it kept going in. The numbers started to blur. 30 points, 40 points. Record-breaking territory. By the time he was done, the stat sheet told the story. 50 points. 16 made three-pointers, an all-star game record. But the real story wasn't in the numbers. It was in the sound. The boos were gone. In their place, cheers are loud, genuine, sustained. The same voices that had spit fire at his name now roared for him like he was one of their own. It was Rocky Balboa in Rocky IV. The hostile crowd slowly, reluctantly, inevitably swept up in the sheer force of what they were witnessing. When the final buzzer sounded, Curry held the Kobe Bryant All-Star MVP trophy high above his head. The smile this time was wide, unguarded. This was more than an award. It was proof. Proof that no matter the hostility, no matter the memory, greatness has a way of flipping the script. Steph Curry walked into Cleveland the villain.
You ready? It is indeed fitting that what happened here in front of the home folks on this night. What makes that so special for you?
Yeah, it's just a celebration of a lot of great things happening in basketball. To be playing with these guys for as long as we have, it's obviously our responsibility to come out and put on a show, and I thank them for helping me do that in Golden State. Because
he walked out the hero, and he did it the only way he knows how, with a basketball, with a swish, with the sweetest revenge imaginable, turning hate into ovation. The Warriors-Rockets rivalry had been brewing like a slow boil for years, built on playoff heartbreak, trash talk, and two of the most competitive guards of their generation. Game 6, 2019 Western Conference Semifinals. Toyota Center, Houston. The Warriors were up 3-2 the series, but Kevin Durant was out with a calf injury. The Rockets smelled opportunity. They could feel that this was their chance to finally take down the dynasty. The night before the game, Steph Curry arrived early to get shots up, chasing that quiet rhythm only he understands. But word got to Chris Paul, and CP3, the eternal competitor, wasn't having it. Reports say he raced to the court, claiming it for himself, refusing even when offered to split the time. To him, it was a small battle that won a disruption to the routine of the deadliest shooter alive.
To the ball.
Chris Paul steps in and knocks down the three-pointer.
First half, Curry is invisible. 0 points, 0 rhythm. The Rockets are swarming him, licking their chops, the Houston crowd roaring with every miss. James Harden is carving through the defense. CP3 is barking orders, and the scoreboard tilts their way.
They've been very disciplined, though, defending Steph Curry this entire first half.
Halftime. In the Warriors' locker room, Curry doesn't shout. He doesn't rant. He sits, head down, mouthing the same words over and over. Teammates later said it looked like he was meditating. like he was building a storm inside his chest. And then in the third quarter, it's as if someone flipped a cosmic switch. The man who had been scoreless suddenly turns into a human flamethrower. 33 points in just 24 minutes. Step-back threes that barely touch the net. Drives where he floats the ball high off the glass, kissing it just beyond Clint Capella's fingertips. Layups through traffic that seemed to hang in the air forever. The Rockets trap him, double him, switch Harden onto him. Nothing works. Every dagger he hits is a punch to Houston's gut. Every shimmy another reminder that swagger can't be blocked. Final minutes. Warriors up by just a few possessions. Curry walks the ball up, the crowd on its feet.
Curry with Tucker right with him. Curry launches a three. Puts it in again!
He pulls from 28 feet, bang. Next possession, another step back, bang. The Toyota Center falls silent, except for the echo of his teammates yelling in celebration. When the buzzer sounds, Golden State is heading back to the Western Conference Finals. Curry finishes with 33 in the half, more than any player had ever scored in a playoff half without a single first-half point. Chris Paul, standing near the bench, just shakes his head. For Curry, it wasn't about a blocked shoot-around anymore. It was about showing who owned the moment when the lights were brightest. Paul may have controlled the court the night before, but under the playoff lights, Curry controlled everything else: tempo, scoreboard, and destiny. 5 moments. 5 stories of a man who takes slights, shoves, boos, and blocks, and turns them into performances that echo through the rafters of history. Against the Clippers, a single technical foul became rocket fuel for a 75-second scoring storm. Against LeBron, a hard shove to the hardwood became a perfectly arched swish that barely kissed the net. Against the Thunder, a sideline scuffle became a halftime dagger that split the game and their confidence in two. In Cleveland, years of boos hardened into cheers, the jeers melting into an MVP coronation under the same roof that once despised him. Against Chris Paul, being denied a quiet pregame practice became a second-half masterpiece that sent Houston packing. Stephen Curry's revenge isn't the kind you scream about. It's not rage, it's rhythm. Not fury, it's footwork. Not chows, it's control. Every answer he gives is measured in arcs and angles, in split-second timing and flawless release. He doesn't point to the scoreboard, he makes you read it yourself. He doesn't tell you he's better, he makes you feel it in every swish, every shrug, every smile that says you woke me up. And that's why he isn't just the greatest shooter who's ever lived. He's one of the most relentless competitors the game has ever known. Because for Steph, the sweetest payback isn't just proving you wrong. It's making you watch helpless as he does it, again and again, until you're not even mad anymore. You're just in awe. If you like this video, don't forget to press the subscribe Amazing Hoops button and ring the bell to receive notifications about the latest videos from our channel. Please leave your comments and suggestions below in the comments section, and don't forget to share this video with your friends. This action also contributes to motivating us to work even more diligently. Have a great day.